And so it is another week, another Wednesday AMA. How's everyone feeling?
Tired.
Bullish. Metaverse
My
Explorer.
brain is gonna explode.
Oh, hey Pete. Metaverse Explorer. Yeah. Awesome Cog Slam demo that you put out. Love it.
Oh, thanks. It was just like, it was really quick. Someone asked me on Telegram to do it, and I was like, okay, sure.
Yep. Was it Derek?
Yeah, I wasn't, because I was a bit hesitant, to be honest, because it's still beta. You know, the full game isn't out yet, so I didn't want to make a video that might be useless later on. But I mean, not much will change.
Nah, should be right. Looks good, and it gives me a place to send everybody. Go watch this video. Have a look. This is how you play.
Yeah, just like an entry video.
Exactly, and it's short and sharp, so it's good.
Yeah.
From where you started with your first video to where you currently are,
yeah.
My God, production value has just gone through the roof. Looks so pro.
I know, right? Thank you very much. I'm actually proud of because I've had to learn everything from scratch. I'm a nurse, for God's sake. I had to go to YouTube, learn how to get Adobe CS Pro, how to use OBS studios, how green screens work, how sound and mixes work.
It's about the journey, man. It's about
the journey. Yeah, man.
Evening, Benny.
Okay, Pete. Hey, Benny.
Good evening. How are we all?
Excelente.
All right, I think you got a lot of questions and topics for tonight, so let's get stuck into it. Where do you want to start?
Can I quickly ask about the countdown on RFOX TV? It was there on the website, and then it mysteriously disappeared.
For RFOX TV, yes.
Yep.
So RFOX TV, they've started putting in all of the videos, as you saw, for the Miss RFOX competition as of last week. What we're doing is we're waiting for the new implementation to also include RFOX ID. So RFOX ID will has games. Games is the first priority, and then media get that after. What we were hoping to do is get the RFOX ID up and running prior to the Miss Universe competition, so that we could have all the Miss RFOX votes and everything going through TV. But what we're trying to do is wait till we can get this all rolled out together at the same time. So we are being mindful of trying to make sure that we are clear on when we're actually going to be delivering stuff. With this, taking it down, we need to just give an update, which is due to be posted any tick of the clock, just that it's coming and underway. But we want to make sure that we've integrated, because what we did was we just missed a massive opportunity with Miss Universe on capturing people into our platform. So we've ended up having to do a voting system, as you saw, ended up getting 29,000 email addresses and people voting, but not on ID, unfortunately.
Cool, cheers.
No problems. Congrats on great NFT platform launch. Obviously, Slam is of the highest importance for our Fox ecosystem. Is October launch still on, or is there possibility of longer delays, such as December or even start? So, George, no. I'll let Friday with Fads go through further details, but obviously the idea is to not do the game's working, right, and it's being played. So, first of all, the game's working, it's being played, and there is no iteration or no changes to the October launch. So now we've just got to incorporate the right play to earn strategy. I think that we've got this right now. Yeah, Fads is the best person to give you those updates, but we're working on some pretty exciting stuff with that at the minute.
The weekend's come and gone. Any update on the gorillas?
No. Yeah, we've had 2 gorilla meetings this week, and let me just check the latest message. So they want to do a full rollout release and information update next week. They're getting all the artwork ready. You've already had a good little glimpse at it, and I think some of you have probably, well, actually, 2 people actually did work it out. They wrote it, and no one really picked up on it. But yeah, that'll be next week, mate, for sure and certain. And that's I can't say anything more. I'll get muted. Is it possible to do an AMA with Dave from Void Cyber? I think so. I can definitely ask. Is that, yeah, sure. Just a general AMA on what Void Cyber are doing or partnerships they're working on. They probably can't give you too much partnership information, but they can definitely, if you want to have him on, I'm sure that he would be happy to, for sure. Thanks for the breadcrumbs in the AMA. Which breadcrumbs?
Mostly about the future partners and the way the gaming section is looking at developing. I don't know.
Yeah. So with so a lot of people have asked that. So how's the future? What are the future partners? I did explain that. And as I said, from the marketing perspective, hand on heart, I said we haven't actually always got the messaging side of things right. And I did see a few comments in Telegram. I just quickly tried to scan before I came here just to see what those questions were. And it was more about what are you talking about? Are you talking about cleaning up the website, or are you talking about the messaging? I think that the thing that's hard to sort of talk about on an AMA, because we're on the clock really as far as time is concerned, is what would that message look like now? How has it changed? So in the beginning, when we talked about being a blockchain venture builder and building the companies for the fastest growing sectors of the internet economy, we were really at the beginning of our phase and our company's development. Now we're actually at the stage where we can really simplify that message and have more about the metaverse as being like the super DApp and the plugins and what they are, a much cleaner, simpler message, easier for people to follow. So the feedback that we've had, because we've been talking to lots of partners and external forces, and these people have the same thing. They come in and say, it's kind of difficult, it's a lot to get your head around, but you're underselling what it is that you're actually trying to build and do, and you should have a more succinct, clear way of explaining that. And that's what we've been doing, is trying to clean up how to get that right and make sure that we're actually rolling it out the right way. That's the really important part. Just who David is, yeah, sure. So I think that when you talked about the games, the gaming part's going to be very bullish. I think the partners that we're looking at working with can bring a lot to the ecosystem and help us to sort of launch the user bases and the user network. So we get to plug into much wider audiences. So the general consensus has been, being very transparent, is that the white label NFT platform and things like that are much more conducive to bringing on huge audiences, because you can plug companies into those and grow and scale more rapidly than going around knocking on everybody's door and following the traditional method of $4 per acquisition and trying to bring people in one by one. So that's been the focus, is to make sure that we're ready to plug stuff in. I know I missed one back here as well. Congrats on the NFT platform launch. So the platform launch, the NFT platform, I know a lot of you used it for the first time. Many of you had never bought an NFT before, so that was really great to hear that you actually got to experience that. You also passed on a lot of feedback in relation to horrendous gas prices, and I think a lot of people that hadn't bought an NFT before were probably a little bit weirded out by the fact that it could cost so much. I actually had several DMs from people saying, is it possible that there are instances out there where NFTs the gas costs more than the NFT, and they can't fathom that that's actually a possibility. I think the really important thing, again, because I've been asked it 3 times, it's come up in interviews, and for those who haven't seen the AMA, I don't know if it made it into the cut, but people have been asking me continually why I think NFTs on Ethereum are worth so much more than NFTs on other networks. And I think the gas does play a huge amount and a huge role. As I said, if you pay $50 for an NFT and $50 for gas, then you're likely to sell it for more than 100. Then the person that buys it from you pays 100 plus 50 for gas. It's definitely a perpetual type of raise as far as the floor is concerned. Very different philosophy as well. I also got asked to expand on please expand on Okay, the buy-up method. Yeah, I can do that. If people are interested, I'm being asked if I can explain more how some of the ETH projects gain value so rapidly while some of them go down. What is the tactics? How does that work? Why is that happening? A lot of people scratching their heads don't understand why someone would pay 0.1 to mint something and then 2 minutes later be selling it for 0.02 on the secondary market. Can we do an AMA with the astronomy guy? Yeah, so Scott is very keen, Metaverse Explorer. It's actually probably something that you might even be able to get an interview with him at some stage as well. Let me see what I can do for you. Every single time we get on the phone to talk to him, we're supposed to be talking about chasing space, how it's all coming together, and we end up in some fascinating rolling conversation about space weather or what the collections are that he has.
Storms. We like to talk about storms.
And Arabic space missions as well, so it's very, very exciting. Okay, so DGen, what I can tell you in relation to Alluvium in the gaming quarter, we haven't talked about Alluvium being in there. So I keep getting asked, can't you just tell us who? We always know that third parties are responsible for making announcements, especially when it comes to brands and the size of the companies. But what's important is to make sure that we get the messaging right as well. Clearly obvious to us is the fact that we have too much of a convoluted message and too hard to onboard people that are coming in. They need to be able to quickly ascertain what it is you do, how to get the token, what the advantages of getting the token are, and that's what we have to really focus on at the minute. So the other chain NFT platforms that want to display and advertise in Vault is exciting. Yes, so Hanford, that's the thing. We don't actually know what those integration pieces are going to look like. These are different chains, so it depends how deep they want to go. Like one of the things that they're looking at is a portal. And as you probably know, there's not really many portals between universes. And I imagine the technical complexity will make people like Pete and stuff, when he gets in the rooms and starts talking to those people, probably make his head hurt a lot with all the stuff that we've got going on. But it is exciting. It's bloody exciting. And you can probably tell by the phone and stuff, we're making sure that we get this right. It's overwhelming. It's a lot of stuff to make sure that we get right, to make sure that this all gets done and delivered and rolled out the right way. So that's very, very important that we do that. But other chains integrating into our white label platform, Hanford, that's one thing. Another chain being able to integrate as like through a portal or through base layer technology, that's completely different. I wouldn't even know. I can't even comment on that, and I'm sure Pete hasn't had any conversations with these people yet, so he can't comment either. But I would imagine that is quite complicated. There's been lots of discussions lately about the middleware operators building the software that connects metaverses. That's going to be the next big thing. When can we get to learn the names of the partners and marquee clients? Is there anything announced the following week, or is it longer away? I don't think it's a matter of being time-based now. We've got one that's finished now, as far as ready to be announced. Content written, graphics done. So that one's close. Again, that's out of our hand. We've handed everything over. But that one's not like a long way away at all, mate. And that's a marquee as well. Not long away at all. And then as far as the actual people building the shops, that's more of a benefit to the wider audience than it is to the actual shop itself. So that's something that I'm nudging people on, saying, can we sort of get something together? Because as far as the shop's concerned, they've got heaps of time, so there's no rush for them. So I'm sort of gently nudging people. Would you rule out blockchains like EOS with their 5 billion war chest being able to launch their own metaverses via RFOX, the regional vaults? That's exactly what I'm talking about, Solid Gold, when I was saying base layer. So already conversation a conversation has started with a completely different blockchain in relation to that. So we have had the conversations, or we are having the conversations internally about what that would look like as a service. So metaverses as a service versus, or a white labeled solution versus RFOX Vault powered by a blockchain, because that's a very big difference, right? If you said, here's a replicated metaverse, you can run it. And we have had some cheeky approaches. We've had people come to us and say, can I just get a white label? Can you give me a white label of your metaverse? And where they're like, no, it's a huge thing. So I guess that's a good thing. That's a surprise that I didn't expect to come our way, or conversation to expect to have. And it's really hard to tackle those conversations because you don't know the different deviations that they can take and where they go.
Just wanted to add a little bit. I mean, we've barely even launched the metaverse, but yet people are coming to us and asking, hey, why don't you build on our chain, right? That's a very tricky conversation to have.
So
I remember the morning when you brought that up to me. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So you imagine if, and I use this name for illustration purposes. So actually, Pete, you choose. No, I'm not going to say Pete. I'll choose. Someone said it right. Solana. Okay. So let's just say that Solana. I'm using that name. That is not a conversation that we've had. Just as an example. But you imagine if Solana came to you and said, we want to launch a metaverse. We want to run it using Solana, and we'll accept RFOX as a form of payment, but it's Solana core. So you imagine you're building out RFOX vaults, you're building out regional and local, and then somebody comes and says, how about that as an opportunity? And that's something that we honestly hadn't even contemplated. And like Pete said, when I take that back to Pete's like, what? So that's really, really good. Yes, when do we hear something about the marquee client? We're very quiet after the sale. Donnie, the reason is because these people have to get things together and sorted. This is something that we're still November away from portals and being able for these people to get their hands on stuff and to make the changes and all the rest of it. So, like I say, the hurry's really on our side, not so much their side. But like I say, one of them's coming now, the marquee. What do you think about the COGS market? I think the COGS market's going to change very, very quickly. Ask me that question again in 2 weeks from now. You mentioned before that you were targeting Southeast Asian audiences, which is great, but not really driving token investment. Have you started targeting the crypto crowd, and do you have any growth targets for later this year? On a related note, the production quality of your advertising websites is excellent. So, Fancy Man, I'm going to disagree with you in the first part, and that is, I think that our website needs a major overhaul to simplify messaging, to make it much easier. In fact, I spent a couple of hours today just looking at it, and we all want it to be much cleaner and more succinct. We've been recommended to other sites like Cardano's and a few others, and I was thinking to myself, this is just as convoluted. But there's some really good ones out there, that's for sure and certain. So, first of all, marketing, we are working on the website messaging, making that more simplified. As far as targeting Southeast Asian audiences, which is great, but not driving token investment. See, that's the part that we keep getting told. We've just literally had this conversation for an hour and a half this morning and been told, Southeast Asian markets are not going to move the needle. It's not going to bring you the audiences that you need from a token investment perspective. But people don't understand that Vietnam is the #1 country in the world for crypto adoption, and this region is absolutely exploding as far as growth is concerned. The issues relate more so to the legalities of whether token trading, purchasing, and IEOs or NFT purchases, payment with crypto. That's the part that's the difficult part. But it is a much slower path to adoption because there's a lot higher level of education needed. A lot of people have never had any exposure to crypto whatsoever. And one of the things that we learned with Miss You is a lot of those audiences have absolutely no understanding of how to get in. And since that's happened, and since the white label platform launch, now we're getting the crypto groups and the media groups in Philippines that had sort of not really been too interested in covering RedFOX before. Now that competition has happened, now we're starting to get that coverage. And I know that some of you are based in the Philippines, and you've seen that it's we've got into pretty much every publication on every site. It's starting to definitely do the rounds. But as the token holders are saying, what good does that do me unless they're buying the token? So that's really important that we bridge that gap, which is what we're doing. Tube staking and BSC staking is great. Do you have an ETA when staking on ETH chain? Pete, maybe you can help me with that one.
We do not have an ETA yet, but the contract is already been deployed on the ETH chain.
There you go. Contracts already deployed on the ETH chain. Yep. With the rollout of the staking pool for VFOX holders to claim RFOX reward, is it reasonable to assume this is the start of a continuous 90-day staking cycle? Claim, of course, for the previous quarter. Yes, it is. So the rollout of the staking pool for VFOX holders, just repeat it for those who are listening and don't read, that might be watching it the next day. Is it reasonable to assume that this is the start of a continuous 90-day staking pool where we claim rewards from the previous quarter whilst the current quarter earnings will accrue and pooled into the following staking period, effectively locking up VFOX for 12 months and removing the supply from the market? Yes, correct. The whole idea of... So I saw a couple of comments today from people saying, I don't understand, why have VFOX? I don't understand why you need the two tokens. We have explained it many, many times, but I understand new people come into the ecosystem. So VFOX being a rewards-based token, people have suggested, why didn't you just have RFOX and then just drop RFOX on people as a reward? You can't do that. Just Google the legalities of that. Airdrops in some countries are not allowed or permitted. Some people get tax implications. People want the choice to be able to make a definitive choice on whether or not they want to be able to claim rewards for a token. And that is why we went that way. Rare Toshi is using NFTs in its marketplace using the liquid sidechain of BTC. Are Bitcoin NFTs on the radar for the RedFOX ecosystem, e.g. rootstock still in place? So yes, Face the bridge is already set up and done, and it is. I think it's reasonable to say, Pete, that it's not that what we're doing now currently with the aggregation layer to see Bitcoin capabilities on NFTs is not something that I think is going to be terribly hard at all. It's a matter of whether people want to produce them, mate. So that's the other thing.
It's more of ecosystem rather than tech at this point of time.
So that's the thing. The thing is, we've got some really strong projects that are about to launch on the NFT platform, on our NFT white label platform. And we heard through Miss You and around there, hey, the gas fees are killer. We don't want to pay the gas fees. It's too high. Can't RFOX do something like Immutable X? Or now, as I've told you before, Immutable X has been made for something like our platform. We've spoken to the guys many times. We know them well. And they've said that this is exactly what their chain has been developed for. So Immutable X will definitely happen. It's a matter of when. But clients coming to us saying, I want to produce an NFT collection on your platform, these are the people producing the collections. They're saying, I want ETH. I want ETH.
I think everyone that came to us wants it on ETH. They don't want Wax, they don't want Solana, they don't want Immutable X, they want ETH.
I had someone that I was speaking to 2 days ago. We had a long conversation. We've got another meeting about it tomorrow because they're moving ahead pretty quickly. I tried to push them towards ETH. I explained that we've got I tried to push them towards wax. I explained what we've got coming up and how. We said that, Pete, yet?
No, I don't think we've said it.
Now I have to say it. Okay. All I'll say is this. I told them that RFOX is RFOX is a consideration over there at wax, and they literally said, I'd rather not release a collection at all if I have to go there. And I said, okay. So that you've got to, again, people automatically assume that everything is within our control. If we start going down this white label route and we start going down the route of allowing businesses to plug in, that's the whole idea of allowing businesses to plug in is so that they can come in and create something and build, right? They don't come to you and then you say, no, I'm dictating exactly how things have to be run. And that's the whole idea. As we open that up, it'll be open to what they want to use. What we're trying to do.
They as clients or customers of ours will come in and say something, right? Hey, I want to do an ETH. Can you do it in ETH? If we can't, and we said, why don't you do it in a wax? And they might not want to do it, right? And that's
Correct.
the whole basis of this whole conversation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris 2703. Oh, you're going to kill me, mate. You got some. I'm well behind as well. Gosh, I'll try and motor through a few of these questions up. But I have a few questions to ask you. For your metaverse, are you using Real Engine 5? No, we're not. We're doing it on the Unity side. Lots of people have asked why don't do it on Real Engine. There's a number of different reasons, but that's the other question we get asked a lot is why don't you build AAA games and stuff like that? You've got to understand our target market and audience. They use mobile phones, and with what we're building and what we're connecting and what we're putting together, we're much better off with Unreal at this stage. And how much that costs to create a whole metaverse like the one you're building. I don't know that you could actually build one like the one we're building because you'd need all the parts to click in, and we've got lots of different moving pieces with the other ventures that plug into it. But if you wanted to build a metaverse that was similar in concept or design, the quotes for a basic metaverse without any of the types of plugins or integrations would run you more than 20 mil. What was the biggest issue that you've been facing while building it? Finding the right people, I heard many times, but what are the others? Dealing with people that understand a specific skill set required in building metaverses that you have no understanding of yourself, which makes it very hard to vet. So, for example, if I'm in a room with an accountant and I ask them to perform a forensic accounting task, I have no idea how long that takes. I have no idea of, I know what it looks like and what it should look like and how it should function, but I have no understanding of the skill level requirements or what is facilitated, how many hands on deck, how many people. So I think the biggest challenge that we've probably had is managing a group of people who understand that very well when we might not understand that part of it very well, and then trying to make sure that we get the two parts to click together, and that there's some sort of control over how they do click together. That's very important because we're plugging everything into this. So that's very important we get this right. And I think, so that's the challenge. The challenge is, and then the other challenge, like a lot of people have said, what about this thing? I thought it was going to get released now. What about this thing? This is, think of it like a space station and you're docking. We've got multiple ventures docking into one space station at the same time. And if they all have to go in at the same time and one can't click in for whatever reason, then it throws the whole apple cart out of whack. So you've got to say, all right, hold off, pull back a little bit. Okay, now go. It's a very intricate system. If I just go along and say, I want to build a metaverse on Unreal or even on something else, Unreal or Unity or whatever, and say, I want to build a metaverse, and people go, cool, what type of metaverse? And I go, I don't care, just a metaverse. no problems. That's probably quite a simplistic thing to do. But then it's like, what tech do you want to integrate with? Do you want to integrate blockchain? How do you want it to work? The other question that I got today a couple of times, and I saw someone ask to raise it with me tonight, they said, sounds like from watching the AMA that this metaverse is only pinned around NFTs, and if NFTs fail, what's the proposition then? I don't even know where to tackle that question, because that is not the premise at all. The buildings are NFTs, the ownership of are NFTs. What people are selling inside of those shops will sometimes be NFTs. They'll sometimes be digital items. They'll sometimes be wearables, and they'll sometimes be real items that get delivered to your doorstep. And this is part of cleaning our messaging up, right? If people think that it is an NFT metaverse and that's all it is and that's all it does, if that comes across in any of our communications or what we've written or our websites, please let me know where that impression comes from, because I'll change it immediately, because that's the problem in the TLDR, too longs don't read. Someone will make one comment, another person will pick it up and run with it, and then suddenly it becomes a thing when it's not a thing. May I ask for the third for external marketing agencies, what are their next 2 to 3 upcoming milestones? So the 3 to 4 externals have been working on some stuff that I've been learning about as well, ranging from programmatic ads to different types of targeted advertising, messaging, call to actions, and they are like, the guys that have been helping us are like unbelievably good. They've come in and they're saying that's not getting the traction it should. It should be a couple of percentage points higher. Change the stills for graphics. This is like a full production. It's quite scary how many messages go backwards and forwards all day long. We've found a couple of really good external agencies from that group that really get what we're doing and understand what we're trying to do. I think that their target for the next 3 to 4 months, or 2 to 3 months, and milestones are to start to attract more crypto investors, the users into the ecosystem as well. So not just advertising to the end user, the people that will be using the product, because the products are not at a stage where we can't mass onboard people to the vault yet, right? It's too early. So if we're targeting and advertising to the retail end user that's coming into the vault every day, it's okay to do a little bit of top of mind and education, but it's far too early to be saying, hey, vault user, come visit what we've got, because they can't get in. There's no point. So their milestones are to really get investor engagement, to build the narrative around. So a new version of the black paper with the new messaging that talks about what the proposition for the whole metaverse and ecosystem is, and why the token plays an important part, and show how that plugs in now that we've actually got things to show people. Any names of these Solid Gold, that's actually, they're calling that the next big great space race, is the companies that build the middleware for the metaverses. I doubt very much, mate, to be honest with you, whether they'll be crypto projects. If I assume that you're sort of asking from a perspective of might be a good coin investment or something like that. The likes of Facebook building a metaverse is the biggest threat to us. It's actually not, I don't reckon at all, Jez. I'll vehemently argue that till the end of days. I'm going to pull the interview out. Someone said that they found it, but I said about a year ago or so, and got boo-hooed for it, that pretty soon Facebook and Google and the big companies would come along and say that metaverses are the next big thing, because we got questioned a lot about why would you be building a metaverse. It's not even mentioned on people's radars. People have tried it, it's failed. And I said, when Google and Facebook and stuff come, and they will, we have to have a unique selling proposition, which is why the e-commerce side of things and the retail is very, very important. But Facebook is a closed system. It always will be. And they've made it very, very clear they want a closed and controlled system. We don't. We want to actually allow for interoperability. That's extremely important. We don't want to build and be responsible for building out every tiny little part, integrating new tech, every tiny piece of new technology. We want to invite that. Facebook do not. Facebook want to control every single little piece. So anyone who has an open system actually has a unique advantage. They have the masses. Is it really a metaverse if you can only interact with what Facebook provides? No, that's exactly right. If you read the books, what's it called? I always call it Snowpiercer, whatever it's called, talks about the fact that metaverses have to be able to connect, that these virtual worlds have to be able to connect. Yep, I totally agree. I see them as being in a different lane. A Linktree page would be a quick stopgap to fix multiple pages. Yeah, for sure. Actually, that's about the third time someone suggested that today. I'd never even heard of them. And then what's that syndrome called? Where someone says, hey, have you seen the new yellow Volkswagen? And you say, no, never seen it. And then on the way home, you see 16 of them. I noticed that everybody's got a Linktree on their Twitter now. What do you think would be the price of RFOX and VFOX token be in 2 to 3 years' time, your speculation price? I'm not allowed to do that, mate. But I will say something though, because I'm not supposed to talk about price or anything like that, right? But I'm a human being just like you guys are. And I'll say to you this: if you compare what we've got today with what we had a year ago, granted, the market messaging has been shit. I'm hand on heart. I'll take full responsibility for that. I'm the fish rots from the head, and that needs to be fixed. And saying you were busy and we've been focused on building and we've been running at 1,000,000 miles an hour is no excuse, because at some stage you've got to stop and say, we're still using messaging from a long time back. It's confusing for people coming in because they can see some of the products that we're providing, and that old messaging doesn't fit anymore. So what I'll say to you is this: if you compare where we are today to where we were a year ago, it is freaking light years difference, like light years difference. Internally, we see something completely different to what you see externally, and I know you've heard us say that before. And our internal staff say in the meetings, why can't we talk about some of these partnerships? Why can't we talk about what we're building? Why can't we? And we say very clearly, especially to a lot of new people coming in, we have to make sure that we can 100% deliver it. If it's out of our control, we shouldn't be committing to a specific date, because it frustrates people. And the more pieces that we're clicking in, the more complicated it becomes. So we just have to sort of sit on our hands a little bit. But going back to your question, what I'll say is, if I looked at the company we were a year ago versus the company we are today and what we've got in front of us, and I look at the token prices and I see they're roughly the same, I would be turning around and saying, Jesus. So I'm not giving a prediction. All I'm saying is that I know this for a fact. If we were a stock and this was book value, and I was Warren Buffett, I'd be buying all of my own stock. Was there a plan to distribute VFOX before the first original land sale? No. The idea was to make sure that everyone got VFOX in their hands first before we do the payout. Have you completed your market analysis of COGS sales? What can you highlight? I can tell you a couple of things, and I can tell you that we need to make sure that we've got both ends of the spectrum covered, meaning money going out to players coming in and money coming in from bigger investors, and we need to create the value for the COGS system, and we have a system for that. And I don't mind saying it's pretty fucking good. Very good. Is the ETH chain farming going to be on layer 1 or layer 2?
Layer 1.
If you get $100 of rewards, it can cost $100 to... It's ridiculous, mate. Absolutely freaking ridiculous. Ridiculous. I was talking to one of the new team members earlier today, and they were saying to me, why is gas so expensive? I'd love for you guys. A lot of you guys are degens. Try and talk to new people coming into the crypto space, and these are team members. Why is gas so expensive? You know what I did? I went through and explained how it all works and was asked the question, didn't they think of this ahead of time? And what would be the next logical question for a new person coming into the space? What happens if Ethereum goes to $10,000? Are they working on a solution? Why is it taking so long? Surely this is the first thing that you'd do if you were trying to keep customers. Customers can't be happy with that. How do you answer these questions? I don't know how to answer them. If one of you guys has got a good explanation, feel free to jump in and let me and help me to explain it in rational terms, not technical terms.
Yeah, the degen answer is this: if ETH goes to 10,000, we don't mind paying gas.
Yeah, yeah. First world problems, huh? I mean, was there a plan to roll out? Sorry, go mate.
No, I just said yeah. First world problems.
Yeah. Okay, Hanford, you've answered that. Well, I don't know what you're actually asking. He's asking, what are you asking? I mean, was there a plan to roll out VFOX before the first land sale? Yes, but the original date of land sale was before that.
No, VFOX was launched in, I don't know, 20 weeks ago.
5 months ago, yeah.
He's talking about the fact that the original plan with the land sale was going to be back in May. I think the original date before you guys moved it. And was there a plan to actually give out the VFOX before that land sale in May?
Well, you're not giving out VFOX. You mean giving out RFOX for holding VFOX?
No. Actually distributing, like the what we just finished up today, the VFOX, distributing it out onto the market.
No. So if we had have gone to a sale back in May, for example, we would have waited until the quarters were operational. And in our original explanations, what we said was we'd wait till the quarters were operational, and then what we'd do is we'd pay retrospectively after the end of 3 months so that people knew exactly how much they got. So in the original plan, we've actually added paying out from land sale from the original plan. We actually said we're going to introduce that. We're going to give people 15% of the land sales back. What will you do with different COGS staking categories that do not have qualified tubes? Will that RFOX be redistributed elsewhere in staking? I can't answer that one, mate. You'll have to wait till Friday with FADs. So the clients don't want anything but ETH, so you have to cater to them. Just the fees. So Metaverse Explorer, it's not so much that the clients want ETH, so we've got to cater to them. If they're using the white label, they choose where to deploy it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone comes along and goes, I've got a kick-ass collection and it's going to be big, and I can either do it through you guys or through somebody else, we say, do it through us. Of course, use our platform. Awesome. I'm going to do it on ETH. The perception of the people that are in the know is that if they launch a collection anywhere else, it is extremely unlikely to have anywhere near the ongoing market value that an ETH launched NFT project will have. And some of the newer chains are actually subsidizing the projects as specifically for that purpose. So when we went out and said, look, we're offering a 10K grant for people who want to launch on the RFOX platform, I got a tap on the shoulder from people that we know in the industry, and they were saying some of the newer chains that have got NFTs are actively trying to poach bigger projects away, bigger potential NFT projects away from ETH. And I'm sure it's been written about and I'm sure it's public knowledge, but some of them are being paid 7 figures to not launch on ETH and to launch on another chain. So if a project's having to pay, or if a chain is having to pay a project 7 figures, so north of $1 million, to change their mind and go from ETH to the other chain, then you would think that it's a fair chance that the confidence or the assurance that the price isn't going to go up as high is not there yet, right? 7 figures is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ask yourself the question, if you were launching on ETH, would 7 figures make you go across? And most of them are saying no. I can make more money on ETH.
Definitely.
It's a big problem. It's a big issue. If we get time, I can tell you about that, because I've had several requests for people to talk more about how those ETH projects work. Going back to projects that want to use ETH for their business, how is this going to help RFOX token holder? Where is the value coming from? So the fact is that all of those people on the NFT platforms, like I said, we offer grants to get people in, but we've got a new model that we will look to solidify and roll out very shortly. And that's going to bring some very big projects into RFOX.
Is that the one that you talked to me yesterday that blew my head off?
Yes.
Well, that's great.
Oh,
That's a good one.
okay.
So this is, let's just say
let's not blow everyone's head off today.
I'm not going to blow everyone's head off today. I'm not going to blow everyone's head off today, but let's just say that the size of the brand coming into our ecosystem and the projects that attracts as a result, you will never ask the question of where the RFOX value comes from. That's a value for RFOX holders. That's for sure and certain. What is the next marketing strategy? To make it freaking simple to understand exactly what it is that we do. Again, I've been pretty critical. I think one thing you can tell us, right? I mean, you can say, might not get everything right, might get a lot of stuff wrong, and it gets more complicated as more pieces start to click together. But the one thing that we'll never do is not face what we could do better head on. We'll admit it. We'll take it on the chin. So marketing strategy is to make sure that people understand what it is that we do very quickly, succinctly, easily. Can get in very easily, succinctly. And you know what? I'm a journey mapping person from way back. So if I say, all right, what's the user flow look like? Come into the community, see that you can buy a token. Awesome. What can I do with your token? You can put it into a farm. That's cool. Okay, thanks. You've also got cogs and a game. Yes, but you can't use our token for that. You got to use somebody else's token. Well, that's a bit shit, isn't it? Why don't you use your own token? You don't know how many times we get asked that question. You don't know what the technical guys are currently having to do and have been doing for a long time so that we can make this a possibility. Then we get the question of, it's too complicated, you want to be multi-chain. What happens if we've got ETH on BSC or RFOX on BSC or RFOX on ETH? I say you got 2 houses, one in Manila and one in Ho Chi Minh. You got a Coke in the fridge in Manila. Can you drink it if you're in Ho Chi Minh? No. So the race is to work out how to also make that cross-platform transactional, but ultimately we don't want to be in a situation where you have to use anybody else's token to buy anything that we produce. It's counterproductive to us. And when a person points out and says, hey, you accept wax, you shouldn't accept wax, that sucks. I say, come along, help us build the solution. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But instead of like just resorting to the fact that we have to give up on that, we're doing stuff that's far harder than it should be and building stuff that we shouldn't have to build. But the fact is, that's what keeps us bullish, because we realize how early we are to the party when basic tools don't exist. Basic tools do not exist. All right, Ziggy, let me handle that one, because this is one that really annoys me, and you've caught me at a it's been a long few days, as you can probably tell with the voice. Are you planning to do any interviews with YouTubers with huge followings similar to what you did with Alex? We have always stayed away from YouTubers as best we possibly can. Alex, we set up a marketing deal with in the beginning that was no cost, as we explained, to introduce channels into Asia and vice versa. And the fact is that served us very well. That was awesome. That's fantastic. But the fact is, we find YouTubers, as case in point in mentioned, are temperamental. They come and go, can be extremely dodgy and damaging to your business. And we just sat down this week with two very big channels, talked about how much packages cost, what could be done, scheduled it in, talked about the messaging, and the new marketing people went through and said, you're not going on either of those shows, and they're dead right. Both of them are big, massive, huge audience, but I don't mean to be disrespectful, but they're dumb money channels going after dumb people, trying to trick dumb people into stuff. And we just we won't have any part of it, to be honest. We don't need to. If we're working with companies that we're working with, we don't need to do this shit. I'm sorry, but it's just, if we can get onto legitimate YouTubers and have proper conversations and all the rest of it, sure. But $29,000 freaking dollars to have a 45-second excerpt into a video, into a channel or something like that, the world's gone mad, mate. And the data's not there, declining data for it all. People switch off for those things. A good old YouTube interview with a Raoul or someone like a Crypto Rad or something like that, hell yeah. If everyone is using other currencies in the ecosystem, what creates buy pressure? I think I answered that, XP. That's what we're doing. We're getting rid of the dependency on any other token. On marketing, Crypto Chico's trustable name as YouTubers go. He disclosed a $10,000 payment when discussing a promoted project. Yeah, for sure. Crypto Chico does actively do that. I think the funny thing is, people think, how come you're not doing more marketing? How come you're not doing more marketing? We've made it very clear many, many times as well that we have an ecosystem fund for development as well. So if the token price is down and you guys say, well, I'm not happy with that, you should push it up, should be up, we want it to be up as well. That's our development funds as well. So there is no advantage to us having a low price. What are the strategies going forward to drive liquidity? So walks, here's how it works. You want me to be really, really honest with you on the way that they write the blueprint on how that all works? People come in, they get in early, they discover something that they think is going to be big. A few names attach themselves to the project, like VCs or big partners or whatever. They generally start buying a lot. People see those people go out. They say, wow, this is awesome. Those people that got in get out. People say, I'm left holding bags. But what happens is lots of people know about you now. So then the next wave come in and say, hey, there's been a pullback. So the bigger fish come in and say, less risk to us because you're at a certain size now. Larger investments, more tier one exchange listings. Those people get out. More people caught holding bags. It's not a very nice cycle. It's not a very nice system. And if you work behind the curtain, you see how it actually works. It's not good. But the fact is, brands coming in and attaching their names and VCs coming in and attaching their names causes demand and causes liquidity to spike. So just wanted to thank all the BAs that have been tireless helping the community their own free time. I was also wondering if we could do a write-up video to get to know them better. They are community members and I feel like they cop a lot of shit when the price goes down. Mate, they do. And you know what? They're human beings and sometimes they crack as well. And rightfully so, sometimes the BAs come back to us and say, we need more information. We're not armed with enough information. And it's frustrating. And I'm having a meeting with the BAs later this week. And it's extremely frustrating because when we update the BAs on exactly what's happening and they don't have the information all the time. And when we update them on what's going on, their reaction will be this week for sure and certain, why don't you just tell people that? And then we'll explain the difficulties on why we're not allowed to tell people that. It's very frustrating. But they do an amazing job. And every time the price goes down, they do cop a lot of shit. And they do a very, very good job. Will the new tube staking window use a pool? Will the UI give rough estimate of total RFOX reward at the time of the epoch start? I don't know, Pete. Do you know that?
Yeah. I got a ticket to get a report out there to show the categories as well as how many tubes are staked, so you could it will tell you how much one tube in that category will yield. So if there's only one, then you get 58,000 RFOX. If you've got two, you get 58,000 divided by 2. If you got 10, divide by 10. If you got 1,000, divide by 1,000. Then you can do the math. But yes, working with the games team on that one. I've already promised them to say we'll get it out and running for the community. Bear in mind that I came from the community, so even if my team didn't do that, if I was in the community, I would probably do one myself.
So I don't know about you guys, but if you want me to, I'm happy to go through what you've been asking in relation to ETH projects and NFTs. Most of you are degens and buy a lot of NFTs. What the hell is that, degen? That looks like a $97 million NFT.
That's a degen ball stuff.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's probably pretty right, mate. But that's just the toilet.
That's just a toilet.
We do, I talked to Ivy. Ivy's my EA. She's amazing. She's from the Philippines as well, and she often I often say to her, Christ, it must seem to external people like we make this a lot harder than it needs to be. It is freaking difficult to do a lot of this cross-chain, and you wonder why people don't do it. But all right, I'll give you that's the funniest thing I've read in a long time, Degen. Those of you who are already degens would know all this, and you'll probably tell me, we know this, mate. We know how this works. But a lot of you don't. So I'll only go through it if you're interested. Do you want to know how a lot of those ETH NFT projects work?
Yes, please.
Yes. Some of you are going to say, I know that. But even some of you real degens are going to turn around and say, I did not know that. So when you do the sale, you're going to be watching this the whole night. Oh, the picture. All right. So have any of you ever seen projects that launch and you mint and they go to Twitter and they say, sold out in 10 to 13 minutes. Let's go. You'll notice that generally those ones they start swearing unnecessarily. Let's fucking go. We're going to the moon. And you think to yourself, okay. You go on to OpenSea about 20 minutes later and you go, why are they a quarter of the price of the minting price? Why? I think we can give out a couple cogs packs. Let's have some educated guesses. Let's have the degens answer that question. Why do they go for a lot less than they were at minting cost? I'm going to ruin people's dreams tonight. This is going to ruin people's worlds.
Should I leave, Benny?
I'm like that magician revealed, that dude that has to wear a mask because he fears for his life. Yeah, exactly. Revealed. Inside job. Yes. No.
Some of them are pre-minted and they just sell them on the market.
Yeah, so Z-Train, because they buy them all themselves and sell them on the second market straight away. Yes, but they don't buy them and then sell them. They actually can't sell them. They're not moving. So well, you're right, Z-Train. They actually, like the way you're saying it's right. I'll decomplicate the steps for the people that aren't following. But yes, there's a mechanism where they can actually disperse those amongst, and you'll notice that generally the ratio of wallets to holders might be 300 for 10,000 or something like that. And someone scoops them all and they go onto the secondary market and sell them for whatever they can. What they do is they then sell them for a lot lower than the bottom. So then what about the opposite way? What they do is you do a pre-sale, build the hype, get a little bit of the marketing mystery going, because now less is more. You saw last night the Art Blocks brought out that, what was it called? QWET 597367778E equals. Some was posted all over the internet today. Some guy's gone into the Discord channel and gone. I think they were eight ETH each. They did 3.8 thousand Ethereum in secondary market trading. A guy goes into Discord and he goes, "What are these things? How do you mint them? I just bought 4."
Yep, exactly.
There's not even a fucking link or anything. It's just a bunch of letters across the screen and a $3.8 thousand in trading volume. So what they do is they do a pre-sale. They buy and sell through burner wallets. Yep, you know this, DGen. Most of you know this. Have you seen the Mechaverse? Yeah. Actually, a couple of guys on our team reckon it's extremely well marketed, mate. Like very clean and well marketed. And those guys basically just go, "It's ready when it's ready. Piss off." Have a look at their roadmap. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not telling you when. Piss off. It'll be ready when it's ready. And then they say, "I'm not telling you when until it's ready." And the affiliated project before that, basically, halfway through the campaign, they were delayed, so they doubled their price. And everyone went, "Oh man, what must be coming? They've doubled their price. It must be really, really amazing." So they do the pre-sale, then they use the money to buy the floor. They keep a percentage of the stock aside, keep buying the floor with all the pre-sale, pump in some of their own money. When natural volume comes in, they start selling some of their stack, and then they keep putting money back in and buying up the floor again. Then what they do is they allow people to roll out derivative projects and DAOs. And then when the DAOs launch and release, and they're still holding a ton of their own NFTs, they then sell those NFTs, take the money and use it to buy the floor up of their main project and keep pushing the price up, keep encouraging DAOs and communities. And look at this DAO, we're behind them. This is great. Look at these guys. These guys have gone and done this. That's just them sitting in another room, collecting money, buying up the floor, sending it up till it gets to enough organic growth that off you go. And that's it. And that's why you see a lot of those people that do really, really great artwork. There's a few really good projects that I was watching last week that came out and they can't sell out. They can't even get to the point they've built in their smart contracts that they have to sell 30% or 40% before the reveal happens, and they can't get there. And they've got mind-blowing art. Like leveraging ETH or any other coins, create enough market for it. Use that to buy the original. Exactly. The wolves of OpenSea. So that's how it works. How hard do you think it's going to pump and crash? I don't know, XP. I had actually never heard about it till last night, until one of our marketing, till some of our marketing guys said, "Go in and have a look at this, how clean it is, how simple the messaging is, and all the rest of it." There's 127,000 people in Discord and 8,888 NFTs. And some sort of lottery system that no one really understands that starts on the night that it starts. So even if a quarter of those people are real, I would say that the demand's going to be...
When I joined that Discord, it was like, I think 10,000 people. And the dang thing just blew up.
TKL, example of what project with good art are you talking about, so I can go and see? Haha. I don't know. There was one 3D holographic thing that looked like it must have taken millions of years to put together. And one of our guys said, "Here's one of these ones, and here's one of this bloody, what was it called? Another cat project." And they said, "Which one, what's better, and how much money do you reckon these things have taken to put together?" And it was light years apart, and one of them's worth nothing. Like absolutely nothing. Done no secondary market trading volume. And the other one's an absolute piece of crap, and it's doing amazing. Artists can generate you a 10,000 NFT project, $4,000 US. Yeah, it's crazy, mate. I think there's code. There's code that you can go in. Is that right, Pete? Maybe you can tell me. There's code you can go in and create your own zombie project and other projects as well that you can learn how to do on YouTube.
You could. Correct. No, it's not on YouTube. It's on our site. I've sent that to many people here in the chat who want to start learning about programming, Solidity, web, and all that. I've sent that out, and I think some of them have tried doing that. just to learn how it's done.
Yeah. Oh, so the rule is there's a really cool guy. Maybe you guys can tell me because you're degens, some of you, and there's a really cool guy. I don't know where he's come from, and you'll be able to tell me his name, I'm sure. Some 20-year-old guys copying him on Twitter and stuff, but they do some sort of analysis, and it's really cool actually. And I'm a data guy, so I appreciate it. But they've basically stated that if more than 30% of your supply of the NFT project that you've bought into on OpenSea is on the market for sale, so more than 30% after the first 24 hours, it's a 92% chance it will never become a blue chip. If it's still 30% or above after 48 hours, none of them have gone to blue chip. The lower the percentage on the secondary market, the better. And if you have a look at CryptoPunks now, go on to OpenSea.
That's like Miss Philippines then.
Go on to CryptoPunks and have a look at CryptoPunks and have a look at buy now, and there's not one CryptoPunk on the market.
Some of Miss Philippines like that. Miss Philippines has very low, sales offers.
Yep. But the thing is that if you look at a lot of them, like some of the big ones that are doing massive volumes have like 35, 37% on the market. I was fascinated when I started going through the tool and having a look. You can work out very quickly which ones are on their way to doing something and which ones aren't. And once it hits 10.8%, if it's 10.8% in supply versus they do very, very well. But then you've got exceptions like your Bored Ape yacht clubs and stuff that have got like 18% on the market, but a lot of those are locked into permanent deals. And then you've got your CryptoPunks with none. Punk scarcity reminds me of some ultra rares. Yeah, for sure.
No, but Benny, like stuff like Bored Ape Yacht Club, even though it's 18%, right? A lot of them are ridiculous prices. It's more for show off rather than really wanting to sell, right? I mean,
yeah, but a lot of those
ones there for like 2,000 ETH.
Not many people are buying NFT solely on art, community use, or yield is king. Yeah, well, I've had a big education over the last few weeks as well, again, from some of these projects that want to do launch stuff, because everyone that we talk to wants to launch these minting passes and access passes and membership passes, and I'm like, what the hell? But as they explain that the actual punks themselves, crypto punks themselves and stuff, basically it's like a membership to a club. So it gets you, it really does get you in the doors. MetaKey 4 is like that. Like what? Oh, pass. Yeah. I saw that someone was selling the pass in that guy's review that I watched last night, and they were selling passes and no one knew what the passes were for, and he was selling them for 7 ETH each. You probably know what they are, you guys, but they were 7 ETH each, and now there's something like 23 ETH each, and people still are unclear about what the pass is. And there's another one that's just like a grey square. There's another one that's a grey square, just a grey square. And then the QWE. So answer me this, guys. If you guys follow that space, did anybody know? Did anybody have any freaking idea what that QW blah 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 thing last night was before they had announced that it was an Art Blocks thing? Did anybody know what it was? Ramses, did you know what that QW blah 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 thing was last night? The Art Blocks thing? Jesus Christ, Gralik, that looks like an expensive NFT.
Should RFOX 2020 be a pass or something?
What I'm trying to say is, Ramses, is did people know that it was art? Like that guy that went into that Discord channel and said, "What are the like? What is it? What was it? What are the? How do I mint this? What are these? I just bought 4." That's the funniest thing I think I've read in a long, long time. Why would you spend $36,000 on something you don't even know what it is? A lot of these new projects have automatic bots to increase their Discord members from 10 to 100,000 within minutes to increase hype, but 99% of these members are fake. Yeah, we cop a lot of crap for not doing that, but the thing is that those cars can't go fast for very long. Yeah. So all right. Any other questions that you've got, guys, that you want to raise? Oh, can we use our RFOX 2020 yet, Benny? CCRY. I could be your best friend in the whole world. Can you please give me a short amount of time to immortalize the use of RFOX 2020 in history?
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah. So any other question? Oh, when's the next metaverse walkthrough? So walks, we're doing. So, oh, am I allowed to say that either, Pete? I think I am. We've already talked about it. The AMA's not right. Oh, that's the other question. People ask when. They always write. I think Benny recorded the AMA earlier. We record the AMAs on Tuesday mornings, so they come out on Wednesday afternoon. We record them Tuesday mornings. The other question I got: are the AMAs rehearsed? No, I never ever know the questions in advance. And any interview that I ever publicly do, or any AMA, I refuse to read the questions. And if Ivy gets questions in advance for me in an interview, she sends them back and she says he won't read the questions. And the reason I don't read the questions is because I want to make sure that I'm understanding what it is that the company does and that I'm across everything. But it is getting to a point now where I'm looking forward to a couple of these other GMs that come in to do some front-facing stuff because I'm not going to be able to be across everything that's happening anymore. It's getting too big now. So, yes. So the answer to your walkthrough is I've already spilled the beans on the thing. The next video that you're going to be getting from the metaverse is going to be me and Lenny talking to each other inside of the metaverse as avatar.
Yeah.
And you can blame me. And you can blame me because the recording of that was for tonight. And and my dinner came at the exact same time as they wanted to do the recording, and I said, I haven't had a second's break all day. I'm eating my dinner. We're doing it tomorrow. So that'll be recorded tomorrow, and I don't know how long. This is the part that I need to always be clear, because this is what I say. We're recording it tomorrow, and then everybody says, hey, Benny said it would be tomorrow. No, we're recording it tomorrow. I have no idea how long it takes to filter or put noises or sounds or editing. I've got no freaking idea how long any of that stuff takes. All I can tell you is I'm going in the metaverse to record it tomorrow, and I think you're going to love the avatars. They're freaking cool. The question we're going to get then is, when can we get in there and start playing around with it? It's freaking cool, and it's massive. The metaverse is like way bigger than you think. Like those shops, we're tiny compared to the cogs.
Does your avatar have luscious locks or a bald head?
A bald head, mate. I try not to present ourselves as being something that we're not, but
XP, that is very mean.
one of the dudes on the team scared the living bejesus out of me because I turned around and he had like this like weird type of sideshow bob something going on, and he was a very scary looking dude. And you can even do, oh, guess what it is? Pete, is he here? What's the question we get? What's the question we get every week with the avatar? What's the question?
Was it Micah?
Gecko.
Yeah, Gecko.
Gecko, yeah. Where's Gecko? He's not here.
No, what's the question we get every week? The question we get every week is, Benny.
Going to get access?
No. Come on. I think it's Apprentice. Apprentice asks it.
Oh, when
His other question.
Pokemon.
There you go. Craze. You did it. The answer is, my friend, yes. Yes.
Don't tell them now, Benny.
They can, Craze. Duck.
That's
run,
it. It's out.
jump, sprint.
It's out.
Did you
Hop
just said
on,
yes?
hop. Yes, and crawl in a real, and it even has creepy crawl that makes you. It's like actually like it's not right. There's this weird type of spider crawl that you can do. It's pretty like it would scare children. We'll have to disable that. You can crawl. Yep. Can you tag? Can you tag the walls? Someone asked me, is that you, DGen? Someone asked me today, can you actually climb walls? Can your avatar climb the walls? And I said, why would you want to climb the walls? And they said, why would you not want to be able to climb the walls? What are you doing? I'm hanging out in the avatar, climbing up the buildings. No. Pete, how goes the efforts in getting the vault on side quests? Pete?
How goes the effort in getting the vault on side quest? The vault is on side quest. Oh, I mean, you mean the official side quest for everybody? No, not there yet. But I use side quest to load the vault into my quest too.
What if you need to go to the toilet in the metaverse? You just close your eyes and go, Z-Train. If you close your eyes, nothing bad can happen. Ben, focus on the avatar part. It's fascinating. Yeah, it's really cool, mate. Because I think we've already talked to you about the avatar, one of the avatar systems that we're using. But the avatar system we're using is kind of, if it was used on its own, it can't do anything like what we would want it to do. So that we've had to use like a skeletal tool on the inside to make it so that it actually moves around and is flexible and does all this cool stuff. So this is the first time that we've seen these two things combined. And we're also talking to the avatar company in relation to getting RFOX apparel and RFOX. So that means that technically speaking, there could be people walking around in other metaverses with RFOX gear on, which will be bloody cool. Can we use avatars from other projects in RFOX Vault? I don't think it's been decided yet, mate, because it depends. That's one of the, like I told you, one of the integration pieces, one of the chains wants to talk to us about is there a possibility of doing portability of avatars across ecosystems? And the answer is, I don't know. Get a dating company into Vault would be huge. Yeah, Gralek, I don't know, mate. We keep getting told about IMVU and Second Life and all the rest of it. Let's see. All right, guys, I'm going to fly and let you spend some DGen time. Thank you very much for attending. Really appreciate it. 21, and Josh is going to be pretty happy with that as well, because guess what the RFOX 2020 does?
We're not telling that.
Tune in next week.
We're not saying that. We're not saying that next week either.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, here comes the truck horn. You get that?
Yes, we did. And only in Australia, it's like way past midnight. I feel like I need to go to sleep.
It's definitely bedtime for sure.
Yeah, sleep when you're dead. Oh, what's Pete doing?
What are we opening tonight, Pete?